Jarvis, drop my needle.
Hello, this is the hardcore legend Mick Foley, and if you are interested in listening to idiots, you came to the right place. Have a nice day.
Woo! That's an attention getter.
He's a very strange young man.
He's an idiot. What we're dealing with here is a complete lack of respect for the law.
Oh my God, he's an idiot.
You know, of course, that you're out of your jurisdiction.
Personally, I think you're an idiot.
But that's the evidence in the car.
I was going into Toshi Station to pick up some power converters.
Always like to keep my audience riveted.
Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, friends and fiends, and welcome to Free Range Idiocy, the podcast about everything, but mostly just the stuff we like. In the year of our Lord, 1999, we, the theater-going public, were taken on a mind-bending ride of epic proportions, testing our understanding of the boundaries of reality itself. We were witness to a movie that not only was a feast for the eyes, but also took us on a journey of philosophical questions that are still as fresh today as they were 22 years ago. That movie was, of course, Being John Malkovich. But tonight we'll be talking about the third sequel to another movie from 1999. This thing called what is the Matrix? No, The Matrix: Resurrections. Once again, the fan theories will be flying, and we, your humble idiotic guides, will do our best to wade through them all and let you know what's the real and what's the jabroni in this episode 85, Mr. Anderson's Neighborhood. I am your Uncle Todd, and with me, as always, is the man who once used all the powers of his inner being, chakras, his inner child, his third eye, all just to blink out of existence momentarily during a business meeting to check and see if his lunch was ready. He is a deacon in the Church of Idiocy and my partner in Idiocy for over 2 decades and counting. I give you the man they call Tim.
Greetings and salutations, my friend. How are you?
I'm doing well. I dang near choked on my own spit again this week.
I was bracing for impact.
I had to pause and fight through it. It's now a thing now. It's like I've got the yips or something.
Yeah.
Like I need Cheech from Cheech's character from Tin Cup to show up and like tell me to put my headphones on sideways or something. Oh my gosh, this is going to I'm firing chili peppers up Lee Jansen's ass. It's bad. It's bad over here. But other than that, I'm doing pretty good.
That is good to hear. That is good to hear, my friend.
I mean, it's not good for Lee Jansen, but
No, it's not. But nonetheless.
Is Lee still with us?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Oh, wait, crap. I'm recording at home, so I can't get Patrick to do anything. I gave him the next 2 weeks off. Crap. This is the one time when he could actually be useful. Go figure.
I know.
I finally have stuff for him to look up and nowhere to be found. However, That also means I actually get a night of peace when I'm recording, so I can't be too upset about that. Anywho, well, we've got some things to talk about here because, quite honestly, the Matrix Resurrections. This is a great start, let me tell you. The Matrix Resurrections is going to be. I mean, everything is on the table for this, so it's going to be a very interesting edition of Real or Jabroni. But before that, we like to, as I say, we like to have our dessert first. We like to have a little nosh on some pop culture and other stuff, bits of geekery, if you will. Mm-hmm. Got a little thing that we call the Week in Geek.
The Week in Geek.
Feels so funky.
Well, my friend. First and foremost, 2021 football campaign, and we need to report in on what is considered probably a pay-per-view level event that happened last week.
And once again, folks, I just want to interrupt here and apologize. This will soon be over. I think another 2 weeks, and that's it. Another 2 weeks, and we can all go back to talking about even more movies and Star Wars, and maybe we'll talk about action figures or something. I don't know, anything but this. But just humor Tim, just humor him, and we'll all get through this together. All right, back to you, sir.
All right. Thank you, sir. Setting that apology aside, the 2021 campaign is closing up here in the next couple of weeks. We are in the throes of the playoffs, but prior to getting there,
the throws.
There was a matchup.
Where are you going with this, sir? The throws. Usually it's the throes of passion. The throes of the playoffs?
That's right. We're in the midst of the playoffs here, starting, my friend.
All right.
But before the playoffs began, there was the end of the season, and there was a matchup of epic proportions between yours truly and Uncle Todd. And we are going to report back on those results right now. Uncle Todd, I tip my cap to you, sir. In a well-contested contest, this was a 237-196 defeat.
That was not well-contested, sir. That was a spanking.
Oh, stop.
Oh, dude.
Have some sportsmanship and grace,
dude,
sir.
It's not sportsmanship. You're trying to play this off. You took yourself a prison pounding right there. Like that's
not.
Rough. That is rough. For the previously 11-2. The person who's talking about putting on the fedora, got the clipboard, he's motivating his team. He's
right.
all into this stuff, and you get yourself handed, what is that? That's 43 points. No, 40.
I would like to say,
points.
for the record, I had 3 starters go down with COVID that I had to replace, and I still put up almost 200 points. So please, I think I need a little bit of credit here in that I at least fielded a team on short notice and still came within 37.
Dude, it's fake football. You didn't field the team. You made a couple clicks. Can we just get down to the reality of the situation here?
Ladies and gentlemen, he may say it's fake football, but you should have heard him when he looked at his team today. He was very excited. So
I'm not excited. The thing is, I'm amazed. I'm just amazed that anything is going right for me. I'm just shocked. I am just as shocked as anybody else. Okay. So yeah, 237-196, Idiot Bowl 2. Mm-hmm. It's now an even 1-1 split over the season.
Yes, sir.
You wound up at 11-3 overall for the season. First place in the league. I wound up at 8-6, fourth place in the league.
Yes.
Now, not that great, but considering I was 0 for 6 at one point, just the laughing stock of the league, just barely above the Flying Dutchman team that you put in just to get kicked around. I was barely above that.
Mm-hmm.
To manage to come back and actually get a playoff berth and be above 500 and then take you down in the last week of the season, I literally feel like Keith Richards every day since 1981. Wow, okay, I'm still around. Sweet. Wake up, have my morning breakfast of Marlboros and the leftover Marlboros from last night and whatever was left. Yeah, and just go right satisfaction. That's my life now. So I'm good with that. I'm good, But like I said, I'm not. It's not like I'm overly proud of my team. I'm just amazed that anything is happening in the right direction for me, and I'm a little scared of what this means for the rest of my life. Because if this is going well, this balance, this yin and yang, something's bad is going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Anywho, please proceed, sir.
With all that being said, congratulations to you, sir, on a well-contested victory.
You're just not going to let the well-contested...
No, I'm not. I put together a competitive team on short notice.
Oh, my gosh. Again, a couple mouse clicks, sir. Come on.
Well,
come on.
Hey, however, who wants to know how the bacon's made? No one. Okay.
I'm not asking you to live in reality with me. I'm just asking you to pass by right now. That's all. Just pass by and wave. That's all I'm asking for. You can go back to your little fantasy land after this, but at least come by and just wave as you drive by. That's all.
All right. Well, this week we are in the quarterfinals of our playoffs, and Uncle Todd is in the first round contest where he is doing rather well. I have a bye for the week, so I am sitting back and hopefully going to get back some of my COVID-riddled players.
I love how you're referring to them as COVID-riddled. It's like the Valentine's Day massacre. Someone came by with a Tommy gun full of COVID, COVID. Just players diving over tables. Ah!
Well, I mean, it's been quite remarkable how not just the NFL but all sports are getting just like waylaid right now. So
it's starting. Honestly, it's been remarkable. A lot like when everything shut down, I was kind of amazed that our internet structure in the United States held up as well as it did when all of a sudden everything went online.
Yep.
Just like I was very surprised that we didn't have more of this happen last season with sports that were still continuing to play and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Now we're starting to see kind of what I figured might happen last year. You know?
Yeah.
And it's not looking great, and it's really rough for the NFL right now, especially coming up on playoff time.
Yeah. In fact, I think this week there's a number of games that are going to take place on Tuesday because they had to be postponed because the teams involved could not field a team, unfortunately, because they still had players who were unable to play. So it's, just crazy. But
yep.
Swinging it back to Fantasyland.
Yes.
You, sir, are currently down 164 to 137, but you have a running back and a quarterback, I believe, remaining.
Yes.
And are in position, projected to, again, net over 200 points, advancing into the semis with myself and our Idiot Bowl 3, where we will settle once and for all who is the greatest in all of Fantasyland. So, with that being said,
But I just want to point out something that just happened, and I just noticed this.
Yes, sir.
I just happened to be looking at the screen when this happened. So Yahoo has like the live projection, and I had a 236 to 173 advantage in the live projection.
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden, it went down to 232.
Okay.
And there ain't neither one of our teams have any players. Oh wait, actually, I do have a player going right now, but still,
okay.
Like to drop 4 points, it just seems really kind of weird. All right, so that I completely submaried my own point because I didn't realize that. Yes, I have a player going right now. Boy, again,
reading is a beautiful thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's great. Although I just want to point this one thing out, like. I cannot believe this, and we were talking about this in a pre-production meeting. Mark Andrews, ladies and gentlemen, tight end for the Baltimore Ravens. I couldn't spot this guy in a lineup. I wouldn't know him if I bumped into him at Target or whatever. 35 freaking points. Dude had himself a day today, and God bless him for doing it now because I can use the help. Because right now I have the quarterback triumvirate of Derek Carr, Ryan Tannehill, and Russell Wilson and his busted hand. So I'm shady does not begin to cover my quarterback spot right now. Like I feel worse about this than back in the 90s when the Patriots were fielding Tommy Hodson, Scott Zolak, and Hugh Millen as the starter. I feel worse about this group than I did about that group. Because at least they were reliably bad.
Yeah.
I never know which one of these freaks of nature is going to have a good day or a bad day. It's like, it's Bull Durham. It's like, don't dig in. I don't know where the next one's going. Swear to God. I learned
another
that the hard way, Costner reference. What's going on tonight? We got a tin cup. We got a Bull Durham reference.
I learned that the hard way last week because I thought I had you. Brady put up 70 points, and my wide receivers did well. My running backs did not, but yours did, and that was kind of the thing that put you over the edge.
Mm-hmm.
So, all of this is to say, folks, we got another couple weeks of this, just wonderfully entertaining portion of Week in Geek that we will bring to you next week, Idiot Bowl 3, and some finality to who is truly the best in the 2021 football campaign.
Yeah. It's all gonna go poorly. It really is. I'm gonna be the first person to ever have negative fantasy points in a matchup. You'll have like 300. It'll actually break the servers at Yahoo. It's gonna be epic. It's gonna be epic. We didn't think
this was possible. What did he do?
You broke the algorithms. Yes. You actually broke them.
Yes. Moving along, just wanted to talk through and just hit upon some thoughts on the last two episodes of Hawkeye. So
yes, sir.
We have been enjoying the Disney Plus has been giving us in terms of this series. And yes, sir, I figured we would jump in and talk about, I believe this was episodes 4 and 5, I believe.
Yes, and there's only 6.
Yeah. I'm not sure how they're tying this up, my friend, because there seems to be a lot.
I don't think they are. I think this is we are getting the first. Well, I shouldn't say that because it's not going to hit immediately into any of these movies, but they're serving something up here, you know. But then again, I mean, I'm just looking at some of my Spider-Man predictions, and I didn't know what the hell I was talking about there. So I don't know why anyone's listening to me for this, but man, I don't know if they're trying to spin this into more shows or if they might try and spin this into a movie or where they're heading with this necessarily. But man, setting up a lot of pins, if you will. And I don't know when they're going to knock these down exactly, because there's not an immediate place for any of them that I can see, unless you want to start going into She-Hulk or maybe, I don't know, maybe Moon Knight ties into this somehow, although I don't know what Moon Knight has to do with some of these characters, but man, they're setting up a lot of stuff here, a lot of stuff that is kind of nice because it's not like Avengers level threats, which is what I feel is nice to see in some of these shows, is like not everything has to involve like the world's going to end. Sometimes it's just like, hey, you know what? This dude is really bad and bad things are happening in a very local area.
Yeah. And what I like is the fact that all of this, when you go back to, you know, what really started, the sequence of events we've been seeing is really around the Ronin character and kind of revisiting that and revisiting the impact of that character on other characters' lives. And so, you know, I find the Maya character was really interesting, who we got introduced to in episode 4, where she's deaf but has trained herself to be a quite suitable fighter.
Oh, for sure. And so here's another thing that I do appreciate. When I was watching that, her dad, the actor who played her dad, which you don't really get to see him a whole lot, but he has a fairly like kind of couple of emotional scenes, and he is in Longmire. So we're getting like 6 degrees of Katie Sackhoff going on here in different shows.
Ah, interesting.
And I happen to be still in the middle of my rewatch of Longmire, and so I'm watching this. I'm like, hey, that's Matthias.
Oh, jeez.
And my family's like, who? I'm like, never mind. It's that Wyoming cop show that I like to watch. They're like, oh yeah, that. Yeah, okay. Anyways, shut back up and don't talk anymore. Okay, fair enough. But yeah, it's cool like catching some actors like that, because he was always an actor who I'm like, oh man, I wish I saw him in more stuff. Sort of like Sandra Oh, who probably again has been in like 20 movies this year that I just don't know about. That I'm like, oh, I would really like to see you in more things. Yeah, that was kind of cool. That was a nice touch, and yeah, that character is interesting. Just because, again, like just a pure revenge sort of thing.
Right.
And very few limits, because, you know, you killed dad and that ain't going to go well.
No.
So now there's no sort of, oh, I won't go after family because it's just between us. Like, no, we're dealing with scorched earth territory.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I thought it was interesting because we had only seen really, you know, Ronin fighting what looked to be clearly, you know, evil people.
Yeah.
And in her flashback to the night her father died, you know, I mean, he's just going through doing his normal thing and just just impales him, moves right along like the machine that he was at that point.
Yeah.
And so it was just an interesting kind of like a different look. And that's something I like, you know, that Marvel kind of, you know, does at times, and actually they ended up doing it in episode 5, because we got yet another perspective of the blip from now, you know, Flo came back.
Yes.
So we have, you know, Yelena's back, and we see from her perspective that she was actually one of the folks who were blipped when Thanos snapped his fingers. And so we see it from her perspective, where she disappears but then comes back, but everything has changed. And so she, you know, being away for 5 years, we kind of get to see that from her perspective, which we've never seen. So found that kind of interesting, and thought, you know, just going back to Maya, I liked how in episode 5, you know, Hawkeye kind of clues her in a little bit to some shenanigans that may have been going on that led to her father's death, like, that not necessarily was he looking to do that, but where was her supposed right hand man the night that all this happened, and you start to get the sense that he's up to something, and so that to your point, that's why I'm not entirely sure when we get to next week's or this week's episode, how are they tying all of this up? You know what I mean? It seems like there's just so many different open threads that need closing and not enough time to do it.
Yeah, and that leaves out what's the face of the dude who's just smarmy with the mustache and the is that like Kate Bishop's potential stepdad? Yes.
I can't think of his name.
Me neither.
The swordsman.
Yeah, mustache guy, and because that's like the thing about him that I'm like he's an actor with the mustache has an actor to me it's a great thing. It is. I mean, he does so well as that guy who you're like I kind of want to kind of like you, almost like Kate is. Like there's times when you see where she's kind of like I kind of want to like this guy, but. Yeah, not really, because I also know that he's not who he says he is. Yeah, and he's just taken out of the picture. He's coming back.
Yeah,
there's something that thread is going to get pulled. And yeah, there's so much going on. It's got to be falling into something else because either that or they're just gonna sew this up so brilliantly. We'll both just be like, all right, never mind. We're going to quit podcasting because there's nothing more to talk about because you just did something incredible.
Yeah.
Which is not going to happen because quite honestly, not because Marvel couldn't do that. It's just because we're too dumb to actually admit defeat. So that just isn't going to happen. So I know you're all excited, but it ain't going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, so you got that. Plus you've got, you got the whole thing with like all of a sudden now you're starting to realize that Clint's wife seems like she's a little bit more into all of this. Like that point, I don't think it was episode 4. Maybe it was 3. Maybe it was 4.
No, it was 5.
She starts,
it was episode 5. He was talking to her before.
But she started speaking in a different language, and I didn't know what that language was.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
and that was before he went in as Ronin to deal with Maya and her crew.
Yeah, and so I mean, you've got that, which is like, okay, you ain't quite who you appear to be. This whole show is like now it's like everybody is not quite who they say they are. Everybody has ulterior motives. I'm like, it's starting to get into like that, like one of those crime shows that you just are getting pulled into. I'm like, ooh, right. I like how you managed to roll all this in to what we thought was like, oh, it's just another Marvel superhero-ish sort of thing. Because it's like, well, Hawkeye isn't a superhero per se, but now we're kind of getting this other angle on it that I'm really digging. I am really digging it.
Yeah, and like, what's up with that watch? In episode 4, he's going after that watch, and we don't entirely know why.
Have you ever heard? I mean, has that watch played a part in anything else? I mean, I thought I was paying fairly close attention to these movies.
No, I don't really recall seeing it in any of the movies, or it. I mean, unless like it's just something that I'm just completely overlooking. But I don't remember a big deal being made out of a watch at any point. So. And it clearly has a location tracking sort of mechanism to it because he was able to locate it.
Yeah, there are some parts of this show that I'm like, okay, it's a little too easy for some of this stuff. But, it's one of those deals where everything else is done well enough that I'm like, yeah, I'll allow it. I mean, some of this is just way too like, oh, and then we'll do this and we'll do this and we'll do like actually. And that's about. It's sort of like, unfortunately, just because of the way that they're trying to intro the character and the way that they have to progress this thing in 6 episodes, I really feel like Kate Bishop is that character who winds up doing those things where I'm like, all right, wait a minute. I'm all for suspending disbelief, but come on. Oh, I can track anybody's cell phone. I'm like, come on. And I'm just going to get into the ultra secret, auction and pretend like I know I'm here. And like, I'm like, okay, come on. There's a few of them, but I mean, I get why they're doing it. I'm not trying to dismiss the character completely out of hand, but I'm like, unfortunately because you have to kind of have these other characters be who they are, it falls to, it's almost like in a, if you have like a tag wrestling match, and there's going to be one guy who's taking all the bumps. Mm-hmm. They are going to be the one that is getting their tail kicked in to make everybody else look good, like the bad guys look really good and tough, and then the other guys are going to be the one to have it come in and have the hot tag. So one guy is just going to get his tail kicked in for like 2/3 of the match, right? That's usually the way it works in kind of a standard tag team match. Kate's is the bump guy. Like, she's the one who has to take have these unrealistic things, and a lot of it just goes to that character, because it's like, well, we got to kind of protect Hawkeye. We got to kind of do this. We got to kind of do this. So I'm like, okay, I get it. And I'll forgive a lot, but it's like, unfortunately, that's part of what is really hard for me to kind of warm up to Kate as a character, is because there's enough of these things where I'm like, come on, again. All right, fine.
Well, the thing to remember, though, about her tracking him down through a cell phone is she's doing that through her mother's company. And I think what was interesting at the end of episode 5 is we get the twist that her mom has some shenanigans going on. And what's interesting is it's a security company, right?
Yeah.
And she has access to this stuff, which kind of, is really kind of like, in some ways, evil intention, sitting right in front of our faces that we hadn't really considered. Like, what is this company where she's able to, have all this access to the people who are like using her systems and stuff like that? That kind of, if it had a little more, if it was a little bit more in, front and center and in everyone's face, it'd be like, oh, that's the villain, violating people's privacy and tracking people through stuff, right? I mean,
well, yeah, but the other thing that you have to keep in mind is also that Kate can hack into her mom's account and utilize her stuff. The person who's the head of
hacking, she was using her account.
Well, I know, but
she was using her mom's password.
Exactly. But so she managed to figure out her password, or knows her password, or whatever. And it's like, you're the head of the security company, but yet your kid knows your password. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
But again, that's another one of those things where you're like, come on. Sort of like, she just shows up all beaten up, and this whole thing, like she went on this mission with Clint and all this, and she's helping him with a case and all that. And then her mom's like, go back to your apartment. You mean the one that was just on fire?
Mm-hmm.
And that a window is missing and all that. And not to mention the fact that she has this apartment, which is, again, it's kind of one of those deals where it's like, here are these apartments that, they're supposed to look like rough and tumble. And it's like, that doesn't exist anywhere. Like, nobody could afford that.
Yeah,
and
right.
it just doesn't. Yeah. Anyways, there's all of those things, but unfortunately, again, it's Kate who ends up in these situations and being put, because that's the place where she has to meet Yelena, and they have to have their macaroni and cheese and have their little chat and all of that, but it has to center around Kate, because you're not going to have Hawkeye do some of these stupid things, because he's Hawkeye, he's an Avenger, and you're not going to have the mom do them, because the mom's already busy with her other little plot lines, and you got to kind of protect that. So again, it's always Kate that winds up in these situations where I'm like, come on. I mean, I'm not asking, again, sort of like with you with fantasy football, I'm not asking you to live in my reality. At least just have a passing, kind of relationship to it, though. I mean, come on. Even in your reality, this doesn't make sense, but okay, fine. I'll roll with it, but this better pay off. And because Marvel always does, Marvel has always paid off up until now. I'm like, all right, I'll allow it.
Mm-hmm. Yep. One thing, and we'll wrap up in a moment here, but one other thing I wanted to bring up too was it was interesting, Kate having her back and forth with Yelena, and Yelena, as we expected, is clearly on a mission to take out Clint because of what she believes to be or perceives to be his role in Natasha's death. And it's interesting, having Kate kind of being the one that starts to, plant the seed in her head that, this wasn't exactly the way she thought it was. Like, Kate has seen the suffering that he's going through with what happened. And, I'm almost wondering if in that one scene where he takes his earpiece out and he's, talking to that memorial, or whatever you want to call it, statue to the Avengers, for what they did in 2012. I'm almost wondering if we're going to find out that, Yelena was tracking him and heard what, some of what he said, understanding that this isn't someone who is taking any pleasure in what happened to her sister, that he is this tortured soul, and he's clearly dealing with a lot of heaviness and weight from that whole thing. I don't know. I just found that interesting that he took his earpiece out, because by doing that he kind of I mean, he really is opening himself up to someone just kind of, you know, sneaking up from behind and taking him, you know?
Yeah.
And so I found that interesting, and I'm wondering if in this upcoming episode, if he finally has that kind of heart to heart with her about what happened, and, you know, she comes to an understanding that this wasn't, you know, what she thought it was.
Could be.
We shall see. And then finally, so I mentioned the twist with Kate Bishop's mom hiring Flo to take out Clint. And so something's going on with her. And then the revelation that she is meeting Kingpin, who is Vincent D'Onofrio from Daredevil. So that character is crossing over apparently into this, and we may or may not see him in the next episode. So that will be interesting.
Yeah, and as we all know, spoilers, Daredevil now exists in the MCU official. I mean, we all kind of looked at those Netflix TV shows as like, well, it's kind of Marvel, but it's like legit real deal. Like Matt Murdock has arrived, ladies and gentlemen. So, yeah. The pieces are falling in place. The pins are being set up. And an awfully big bald one was just set up.
Yes. with Kingpin being the ball.
Yeah. It's who knows what's going to happen this Wednesday. I don't, but
Indeed. I really do like coming back to the thing with Hawkeye and Yelena. I really do hope that they do that, though, because that seems to have, you know, that's a thread that's been kind of touched on in pretty much every episode so far, and you kind of hope that they bring that to some sort of closure, or some, you know, just bring that to some sort of endpoint, because to just kind of do that and then leave it open, you know, I mean, like you said, maybe they're doing a cliffhanger, maybe there'll be a season 2 and it gets resolved there, but I kind of got the feeling this was a one-off. I'm not entirely sure at this point, because there just seems to be, you know, so much that kind of needs to get wound up. And I'm not entirely sure how you do that in one 45-minute episode. So we shall see.
Yeah, no idea. And actually, so here's something I really didn't realize. I didn't realize, I mean, I should have. I should be up on this stuff, but I didn't really pay attention to that many of the Netflix MCU shows. Dude, we got Matt Murdock like legit from the Daredevil show. Like that was the same actor. I didn't realize that. And Vincent D'Onofrio, he was in that show too, wasn't he?
Yes. Yep.
Okay, so yeah, we are headed in that direction. Wow.
Interesting.
I'm liking it.
And that, my friends, is once again the 30-minute version of the Week in Geek.
It's just the standard version of the Week in Geek. Like, come on, let's just put it there. This is our life now.
The passion comes out. You know what I mean? We have to express, and it takes time to express. So there we go.
Yeah, it does. So now on to the main matter, and that is Matrix Part 4.
Yes.
Matrix Resurrections is going to be in theaters this week. I mean, my gosh, we are recording this on Sunday. I am hoping, fingers crossed, that the editing elves will be able to get this back onto the interwebs by the day that it opens. Wish me luck. But yeah, so we are a few short days away from the return of Neo and Trinity and a cast of thousands, apparently. And so without giving away too much, lots of theories about what's going on here. And quite honestly, even people who have read the script, you said Carrie-Anne Moss had read the script and was not expecting the way things turned out. So what the hell are we going to know? Well, we don't, but we've got a bunch of people on the internet who seem to think that they know. So we're going to talk about stuff that they say. So this is like third-hand knowledge. I don't even know where to go with this, but it's going to be interesting no matter what.
I forget the character from Ant-Man, but it's Paul Rudd's like thieving buddy there who tells the story really fast and it jumps around to a bunch of people.
Oh God! Oh, what's his name? Because he's been in a lot of stuff, and every time I see him, I'm like, dude, I'm so happy to see you.
I'm gonna look it up.
He was in
Michael Pena.
Yeah, he was in, because he's in The Martian too, and he's been in a few other movies where I was like, nice to see you, sir. Nice, always fun to see you. Always
he was
fun.
Hysterical.
Actually, wasn't he in Fury?
He might have been. Yeah,
I think he was. And actually, that's kind of funny because then you have the other one, the guy who played Punisher in the Netflix series was in that. So you have a nice little crossover there.
Mm-hmm.
It's just all coming together. It's all going to eventually be a Marvel. It's
Marvel, Matrix, Star Wars. It's all coming together.
Yeah, we're going to get Luke Skywalker in the next Avengers movie. Book it.
And you know what's going to happen? That'll happen before the BSG series on Peacock comes out.
And you know what? Thank God for that. I am A-okay with that. A-okay. If we get Avengers 15 before we get the next news bulletin about the BSG reboot, I'm a happy man.
I have seen nothing about that, by the way. Nothing.
Gee, I wonder why.
This is a one-way trip.
You know what? I think I'm thinking someone from the original from that cast put a hex on. There's some sort of like voodoo curse going on. I don't know.
Oh yeah.
Come to find out, one of the Baltar was like a voodoo priest or something like that. Evil eye or something.
That's right.
I don't know.
The stink eye. The almighty stink eye.
That's what it is. But anyways, we've got a bunch of fan theories about Matrix Resurrections, and we are going to go through these. And once again, we are going to determine whether they are the real, which means true, it's definitely going to happen, or they are the jabroni, which means no way in high holy heck it's going to happen. And we're going to go through these. We're going to keep track of them. And thanks to Tim's mathing and spreadsheet skills, we will keep track of the results. And then after watching the movie, we will reveal our results. And at the end, the winner will get bragging rights as well as a beautiful bottle of bourbon from the loser.
Well said, sir.
I do my best.
All right. Are you ready?
About as ready as I am normally. I just do want to follow up. We will get around to tallying up and going through all of these Spider-Man No Way Home results. However, I'm feeling both good and bad about those. Like, I have not gone back through and tried to do it myself because I know I'll screw it up. But I have no idea where I'm going to land with those. So I'm feeling a little bit nervous about these, but oh well, whatever.
I have tabulated them, but I will not tell you what the result is.
You have?
I have.
So now I can't tell if you're just in a sore mood lately because of losing in fantasy football or that. So
not at all. No soreness, my friend. It's all good.
Now you're just trying to roll me. I'm not buying it. I'm not. I feel like Ricky Bobby. I'm not sure what your tactics are. I'm just going to keep playing along until I figure it out.
All right. Well, we have. I know we said we were going to try to keep it at 25. I went 30.
Oh, jeez.
So
I didn't put on a pot of coffee.
Just want plenty of opportunity to make a comeback. Anyways, first section deals. Well, it's entitled "Not Quite Dead Yet." Dealing with the kind of source of how are Neo and Trinity back? Because when we left them in Revolutions, they were all pretty dead. So this will be interesting.
I love how you say they were all pretty dead.
Well, mostly dead because apparently they're not now.
If you're mostly dead, they're all dead. You just go through their pockets looking for change. Mostly dead, though.
What did he say? He said, "La."
A blade, which means to bluff. Could we get a Miracle Max appearance in the Matrix 4? Is that one of your questions? Because that's what I really want to know.
Unfortunately, it is not. I should have threw one in there just to mess with you.
Could we get like Digital Andre? I am the Brute Squad.
I am the Brute Squad. All right. First one. The machines are capable of resurrecting humans via Matrix-esque shenanigans. The real or the jabroni?
So are we talking about humans within the Matrix? Or are we talking about like humans outside the Matrix?
Well, I didn't think I had to be that specific. So... with
this movie, with all the different layers and weird things, you kind of got to be. So you're talking about like the machines can bring people back to life, like
So when I talk about the machines, So when I'm talking about the machines, I'm talking outside of the Matrix.
Okay.
But what I'm saying here in the first what this first statement is meant to bring out here is that the way they are capable of resurrecting humans via Matrix-esque shenanigans, meaning they can't resurrect them clearly on their own scientifically, but there's something about plugging them into the Matrix that gives them the ability, is what I'm saying. So this is kind of a precursor to how exactly are Neo and Trinity back.
I got no idea that doesn't make any sense to me, but I'm going to go. Oh crap. This is going to be difficult because anything is possible here. Like we're in total Kevin Garnett land, I mean,
if you think of it this way, like there is the real world and then there's the Matrix, right? They can die in the Matrix and then they die in the real world. So the idea is, have the machines figured out a way to plug a human body back into the Matrix and restore consciousness to them through that?
So essentially, like they're rolling them downhill and popping the clutch. Is that what we're talking about here?
You know what? Well said, sir. Well said.
Jeez. Well, why didn't you say?
Well, I tried, and I don't know. You're still flying high from your victory, so I can't help you.
No, you just need to break it down to like a second grade level, and all of a sudden it clicks. Like, oh well.
I like how you put it rolling down the hill and pop the clutch. Well, that's fantastic. Maybe that's what I need to do from now on. All of my metaphors need to be in some sort of automotive situation.
Sort of, I mean, if they're dead, I mean, the starter's gone. Let's see if we can just, get it going, moving.
Good Lord.
Just got to park going downhill from now on. Then you're all set.
All right. Real or Jabroni, my friend?
Gosh. I feel like I'm being entrapped on every single one of these. I really do. I'm feeling so paranoid about
only the first one.
I know, and that's what's worrying me. I feel like I just go I just pick one and then go for all of them. Just like I'm either going to say they're all the real or they're all the Jabroni. That's what I feel like I got to do.
Uncle Todd is feeling the pressure of potentially having to own up to 2 bourbon bottles he's got to buy.
Well, no, because then we've got Spider-Man, we got the Book of Boba Fett, we've got
3 bourbon bottles.
There's bourbon flying all over the freaking place. I can't keep track of it. Oh, sure, why not? Let's go for real.
Oh, are you going to say the real? Okay.
Yeah, I guess.
All right. Geez, I spent so much time setting it up for you. I haven't had time to think about it for myself.
For heaven's sake, you've already got all these written down. Just say it.
Let's see. Well, wait a minute. I'm reading through all of these because I want to be
reading
consistent.
through all of them.
Yeah, all 30 of them. No, I'm kidding. Just these couple here.
I knew I should have taken up something. Knitting.
I'm going to say the real. Why not?
Full contact stamp collecting.
All right. So we both went the real on the first one. Well, that was good. That only took us 15 minutes. This should be a nice, tight, short show. Number 2, Neo and Trinity.
I don't need this type of attitude from you right now, sir. I really don't.
Neo and Trinity died in revolutions and are truly resurrected in the story. So this statement is meant to say that resurrection has truly taken place and there is not some sort of, shenanigans going on behind the scenes.
Jabroni.
All right. So you do not believe they're resurrected?
I'm only responding in one-word answers from now on because I'm tired of your guff, sir.
Oh wow. Jeez. Really? Wow.
Yeah, I'm going full on heel right now. I forget Bobby Heenan. You're getting Paul Heyman. That's what you're getting right now.
Wait a minute. If it's Paul Heyman, it's not going to be one-word answers then.
I never said I'd be consistent. That's part of my heel persona.
Oh, good Lord. All right, number 3, Neo and Trinity.
Why has it got to be number 3 anyways? See what I'm doing there? See what I'm doing right there?
Good Lord. Neo and Trinity.
Hey, why do you get to read the questions all the time? How come I don't get to read the questions?
God, here we go. Neo and Trinity are dead, and what we see in the Matrix are quote unquote cached copies of their digital selves that were saved by the machines. So in the same way that when a human plugs into the Matrix, there is a visage of them that is created that exists in this construct. The idea is that they are physically dead, but what we see in the Matrix are essentially a saved version of themselves that the machines have somehow brought back into the Matrix. What say you, sir?
Gosh. Real. You know what? I think I'm just going to go real on all of these from now on. I'm going to have that one jabroni, and all the rest of these are going to be real. I'm rolling my dice on that.
Really?
I think I'm going to do it. This is as good a time as any to test this theory.
Do you want me to go full on jabroni then for all of them? Like we'll test this out and see what the experiment renders. You go all real, I'll go all jabroni, and we'll see who's right at the end of the day.
I kind of feel like it.
This will, in fact, be a short show then.
although the thing is, you would have the advantage because, as we've seen, most of these theories are usually jabroni.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair.
So I think that would be unfair to the listeners.
Yeah.
And all the listeners right now, like, we don't really give two craps.
Let me see.
Are you going to make that noise every single one? Because you sound like a squirrel, like with a nervous chatter. That's just freaking creepy. That wasn't a squirrel. It's like some old villain.
All right. Let's
like
see.
George Burns when his dentures would start clicking. Oh my gosh, I'm growing a beard right now.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm gonna go. Oh man,
there's only two options.
I know, but I'm trying to be strategic and tactical about this, my friend.
Why are you going to be strategic? Why?
My Paul
Heyman is now venturing into Gilbert Godfrey territory. I need to stop.
All right, Number four. Neither Trinity nor Neo are resurrected, but rather the machines time traveled to bring them to the future to fight a new threat. So this is the old.
Why is it always got to be around time travel? Oh, see, that's more. That's like Gilbert Godfrey constipated.
This is sublime. You've invoked Paul Heyman and Gilbert Godfrey in the span of 10 minutes. This is incredible.
Incredible. I mean, but also, I mean, you can see the relationship, can you not? Like, is there? Yes. I mean, it's not a direct line, but the dots do connect eventually. You know. All right. So neither Trinity. No, there's no time travel. Jabroni.
And I will agree with you as well. I kind of feel like in some ways these first like 7 or 8 are like going to make or break this whole thing, because the whole like how do they come back is just the thing you just don't understand. You know what I mean?
What if they just don't explain it? Wouldn't that just be the ultimate like sort of Matrix-esque sort of thing? Like they just are, and all the fans like
could be. Neo and Trinity never died, but were healed by reinserting them back into their pods, and therefore the Matrix.
I'm having it because I know that Neo at the end, like he went back into the Matrix, and they did the tentacle chair thing and all that, like which was you know appropriately creepy.
Now, Trinity was impaled. Like she was impaled like several times because they basically crash landed.
Yeah. That didn't go well for her. Yeah, but they didn't show what happened to her. But she did definitely like croak.
That seems to be it. Yes.
Nah, Jabroni.
Oops.
I think it's going to be something else.
All right. I'll go with you on that one.
You are. Like, that noise is your new thing. Like, what is that?
I don't know. I'm thinking, I got to make a noise.
You're like a squirrel working on a particularly like big acorn or something. Like, that's not thinking. It's like chawing.
So I'm looking over this, and we said in the first one that we do believe the machines can resurrect humans, but every single statement since then that discusses resurrecting them, we said jabroni.
Yeah. You know what? Dear. If people are coming here for like, consistency, they came to the wrong damn shop. All right. That's two podcasts over to the right. You go over there with Guy Raz, you get consistency, you'll get, logic, you get people hosting it that aren't legally insane in 18 states. Here, this is what we do.
So this bothers me, so I'm going to say the real, because there's got to be some way for them to come back.
I'm the more I think about it, I think they're just not going to explain it.
All right.
I think that'd be awesome. I mean, they are, but to me, that would be the biggest FU to the fans. I kind of like that.
All right, number 6.
Yeah.
This Neo is, in fact, the 7th incarnation of the One as a manifestation of the anomaly per the architect's speech in Reloaded. So if you remember, the architect explained that the byproduct of all of giving humans a choice manifests itself within Neo. So that chaos manifests itself in him. And that was when we learned that there were actually 6 prior versions of the One, where essentially the machines wipe out Zion, and the One and some number of humans he selects basically repopulate it. They reboot the Matrix and they start over again. So what was different in this sequence we saw is that instead of choosing humanity, Neo chooses Trinity. And so now they're off into a tangent they've never been into before. But the fact is, choices has always been an issue with humans. So is Neo, the Neo we see in this movie, in fact, the 7th incarnation of the One?
I think this is probably the most plausible. So I'm going to go real.
You're going to go real?
Yeah.
All right. Oops.
What about you, sir? Are you
I'm
going
go
real?
Jabroni. I'm going to go Jabroni.
Oh, so you think it's some sort of mystical, like, hoodoo, mechanical hoodoo that's going to bring him back?
Well, I'll not in the next one, but the one after, I will reveal why I say Jabroni here. So the next one is number 7. Simple explanation. Neo is immortal.
Jabroni.
All right. I will say the same.
I mean, it's a little on the nose given all the Christ imagery before. It's a little too, okay, come on,
All right. And then our last one in this section that we're calling Not Quite Dead Yet, a resurrected Trinity is in fact the 7th incarnation of the One, and Neo is her guide.
See,
I'm
now this...
I'm going to go the real on this one. I'm just going to get out in front and just say it. Real.
This one's kind of interesting, and I've completely leaned back on the couch now. I'm getting wicked lazy. I'm probably going to doze off. I'm just going to warn everybody right now.
Which basically means this may never see the light of day, because he's going to leave our service running all night long until he wakes up and he's like, "Oh, I got to turn this off."
I'll be the one person that crashes Zencaster.
100 gigabytes. How did we do that?
You shut down the Amazon and the Google server farms.
Oh man.
I actually really like this theory. I don't think it's the case. Although, I mean, there is some merit to it. There is some merit. I'm going to go real.
All right.
I'm saying Neo is the 7th incarnation and that Trinity is the 7th incarnation. Once again,
no consistency whatsoever.
You want consistency, you come to the wrong place. You're fresh out of luck.
We don't normally do this, but I will ask counsel if they will grant me an exception. I'd like to go back to number 2 and adjust my answer.
No, I thought we already established, like, once you've gone on to the next question.
I asked counsel if they would make an exception, and the answer is no. So we will move on.
Okay.
I just wanted to ask that before we move into the next section. because it bothers me that I'm inconsistent now. I didn't say real to any of the resurrection ones, and I feel like I need to now. But that's fine. You're just going to leave me with that, and I'm probably not going to sleep tonight. It's going to bother me.
Just be wrong and be there in your wrongness.
Oh, jeez.
That's what you need to do.
God, you use that against me.
You're welcome.
Ah, dang.
Oh, boy.
This next section is called In or Out. We did this for Spider-Man. This is kind of about who will we or will we not see that could make an appearance, and in what sort of character will they be. So the first one, Lawrence Fishburne will appear as Morpheus in and this is key, in new scenes for this movie. So there's already been a little clip that was released that we see Lawrence Fishburne from his appearance as Morpheus in the very first Matrix. But I'm saying Lawrence Fishburne will appear as Morpheus in new scenes in this movie. The real or the Jabroni?
See, this one's tough because I want to go with my heart. My heart's like, I want me some, like old school Neo and Morpheus. And my heart's also like, well, and he's in the John Wick movies, and they talk and all that, and blah, blah, blah. So, but at the same time, logistically, I don't know. It almost feels like they're trying really hard to recast some of these parts so that they can keep making these movies. That's what it kind of feels like to me. Maybe I'm wrong, but it feels to me like this is a second trilogy they're trying to kick off here, and they're like, hey, we don't have to have Lawrence Fishburne. We don't have to have what's the guy who plays Smith?
Hugo Weaving?
Yeah, we don't have to have Hugo Weaving. We can cast a bunch of other folks that we don't have to pay nearly as much. And then we just got to pay, we got to pay Keanu or, Carrie. Maybe they finally kill off Trinity, and then we just have Neo, and then you just got one paycheck. I don't know. Heck with it, real. I will give into my hat. What about you?
I'm going to say Jabroni.
No, you Grinch, you.
What do you mean?
I don't know. I just sounded good. It's Christmas.
All right.
And Hugo Weaving's name is like the next question down. That's how observant I am, ladies and gentlemen.
Nice.
By the way, what a great fracking name is Hugo Weaving. I mean, come on. Dang.
That is.
So many times that I'm like, why was that not me?
So our 10th statement is Hugo Weaving will appear as Agent Smith in new scenes for this movie. Real or Jabroni? And again, we have seen clips where Jonathan Groff, the actor, clearly is playing. It was unclear if he was like maybe another form of the Merovingian, but he has in this trailer very unequivocally been shown to be the analog to Hugo Weaving Smith. So he is going to play, kind of in the same way there's going to be a new actor playing Morpheus. It looks like Jonathan Groff is playing Smith. The question here is, will Hugo Weaving appear in new scenes as Agent Smith or not?
I see. If I'm saying one, I should say another, right?
That would be the definition of consistency, sir.
Gosh, that makes me want to say Jabroni then, just to completely. I'm going to go with real.
All right.
Once again, I'm going to go with my heart instead of my head. And you, sir?
I'm going to go Jabroni.
Look at you. Just like, you're just an old crusty jerk. Just like,
I am.
I don't want any of that old stuff. Give me the new stuff. And then you're going to be like, it wasn't like the old stuff.
I only want the new stuff.
I went full on Adam Sandler there for a split second.
Well done, sir. Well done.
Which is great because I'm dressed probably exactly like Adam Sandler is dressed at this very moment. I just have like $500 million less dollars in my bank account.
And I share in that same state.
Has anyone managed to leverage like kind of a very limited filmography as well as Adam Sandler has? I mean, that amount of money that Netflix paid him to basically just make whatever you want and stuff. that dude is never going to have to do anything else in his life if he didn't want to.
No. I also don't think the kind of movies he made can be made now.
No. I mean, but then again, I mean, I have not seen Uncut Gems. Have you?
I have not.
I keep hearing that it is fantastic, but it is something that, like, if you have a kid or you have a spouse or significant other or roommate who is very sensitive to like life, that they can't be even like in the house when you watch it.
Oh, geez. Wow.
Like I'm probably exaggerating a little bit because that's what I do, ladies and gentlemen. But I've heard that it's not exactly appropriate on any family type level. But I've also heard it's a legit good film. So
yeah, I remember reading things like that as well. Like he's made a few films like that have been artistically very good.
It seems like he makes just enough of those and then is like, okay, now let me cash in for like 5 movies and then I'll do the thing that I want, which, I mean, hey, I wish I was in his spot. What can I say? Anyways, moving right along.
All right. Statement 11. At least one other member from the original Nebuchadnezzar crew will appear.
Jabroni.
The real or the Jabroni?
So now if we're talking new actors, man, I kind of want... oh gosh, I forget his name now. Joey Pants character.
Yeah.
I kind of want him to show up and be all buddy. Be like, no, you can't get on the ship with us. Nope. Morpheus be like, why not? Just trust me on this one.
He's not allowed.
Yeah.
All right, number 12, Neil Patrick Harris's character, which we saw in the very first trailer, will in fact be the architect with a different shell. And by shell, I mean, if you were a fan of or a viewer of Reloaded and Revolutions, you know the Oracle changed or had a shell broken and a new shell kind of around her in the form of a different view or different person. And so that's what this means, is that the architect, rather than being the Colonel from Kentucky Fried Chicken, will instead be Neil Patrick Harris.
Wow. You went there, huh?
I had to go there. It's low-hanging fruit. I'm sorry.
It would have been so great if he just had like an over-the-top, like foghorn leghorn type, deep south kind of accent. What I say, Neil? Let me tell you.
Oh, boy.
That would have been so, oh my gosh. Could anybody have kept a straight face with that?
I don't think so.
I would have, again, this is the reason why no one will ever put me in a film or anything, because they would have given me that wardrobe and that look, and that would have been my first take and only take, because the director would have been like, cut, you're out.
Yep.
I would have, but yeah, I'm like, can I at least get that on no, I can't. Okay, thanks. All right. So the weird thing is here, I don't know if would that be, because we've seen the architect kind of just off in the room watching stuff. And here it seems like that character is kind of at least basically participating in something.
Well, at the end of Revolutions, he did talk with the Oracle in the Matrix.
True.
Like he walks across this like field and talks with her, and then he kind of goes away. No. I don't think so. Nope, Jabroni. I think I'm going to go the real on this one.
Suit up.
All right, and the last one in the section entitled In or Out, Sati is the new Oracle. So if you remember, Sati is a young girl in Revolutions. There's rumors that I think her name is Priyanka Chopra or Chopra. I can't say her name.
Okay.
Is playing that role as an adult. And so the rumor is, will we in fact find out that she has been given the same abilities that the Oracle from the original trilogy had, and therefore is now the new Oracle.
Did this character do anything, or was she just kind of like a
Sati?
Yeah.
She was essentially the product of two other programs within the Matrix. So it was kind of this new concept that programs can begot programs. And she did not have a purpose at the time. And so she was at risk of being deleted. And so they made a deal with the Merovingian to sneak her into the Matrix to keep her
on the train,
deleted.
right?
Yes.
Okay, now it makes sense, because I was like, I am totally not even placing who this is, and now I'm also realizing how long it's been since I've seen those other two movies. I'm
gonna go the real.
I'm going Jabroni.
This is going to be an interesting score. There's a lot of differences. This is more differences than we normally have apart from each other. It's pretty funny.
I know. And I'm like, pucker factor is off the scale right now. I'm just... I shouldn't be this nervous, but you know what's got me nervous? I've been doing so well in fantasy football, and all of a sudden, when I went up in fantasy football, my winning streak in real Jabroni went down. And like I said before, I would much rather those be reversed.
Yes.
Anyways.
All right. Moving on to our next section, which is called Purpose, Mr. Anderson. If you remember, that is a line from Smith. This is all about kind of what is the motivation behind the story, you know, what's going on in the story here, from near as what we can divine from the trailers and so forth. So our statement number 14, the machines need Neo to battle a threat to both man and machine. So similar to the trilogy, they need to bring him back to battle a threat to both man and machine. What say you, sir?
I'm going to go real. It seems bat spit insane enough that it just might work.
That's funny, because I'm going to go Jabroni.
Wow, this is going to be the crash of metal when we do this one. Oh my gosh. One of us is going to be so right and the other is going to be so wrong.
Oh yeah. Next one. Humanity has grown in numbers and power. I should have put in here since peace was established, and threatens to wipe out the machines. So at the end of Revolutions, there was a truce that Neo essentially negotiated by helping them out of this bind with Smith, and now the idea here is that humanity, because now there is no constant cycle of purging of humanity and, you know, repopulating and purging, now they've grown in numbers more than they ever have and are now in a position to wage war against the machines in a more effective way. So this is what is driving kind of the idea of bringing Neo back. The real or the Jabroni? And I'll go first and say the real.
I'll go the real.
All right.
Mostly because I don't know. I think that could also count as a threat. I think that could also count as a threat to both man and machine. The fact that there is, if there were an overpopulation threatening to take out the machines are the ones who are also keeping a high degree of population of humanity alive in their little, you know, bathtubs full of goo. Yeah, I could see that maybe working both ways. So I'll try for a little bit of consistency there.
All right.
How about that?
I'll take it.
Good.
Next one. Morpheus is in fact a machine-created program to help Neo realize who he is. So this is to say that even though he is Morpheus, he is strictly a program within the Matrix that is essentially a Sherpa to help Neo realize or remember who he is.
I'm going to go Jabroni, if only for the fact that now I am really tired of this trope in movies that has seemingly happened. I've noticed it since Black Panther of, like, you know, remember who you are, which was cool when it was that movie. But now I've seen it in, like, I feel like I've seen it in like 5 or 6 other movies. I'm like, okay, enough. You didn't earn it. Like, it's not done nearly as well. I'm tired of, like, having that one character say to the other character, remember who you are, you know, or, you know, something like that. Like, no, there's other ways to say it or do it or whatever. Like, I get that it's the same effect, but please, a little bit of put a little finesse on it, you know, give me a little something instead of just like, you like this before,
a little haha.
You know, give me something better than like a lukewarm cafeteria grilled cheese. Throw some pesto on that bad boy. A little, some Gouda, something. Give me something besides like 2 half-cooked pieces of bread with a slice of American cheese. You didn't even bother to put on like straight. It's on there like sideways, so it leaked. Most of it leaked out the sides. So you got these 2 pieces of bread with like a little smattering of cheese in there.
Bring it back, brother. Bring it back.
Not even any butter. You didn't even put any damn butter. You butter like one side of one piece of bread and the other's just dry. So you pick it up and it falls apart. So it's like, it's not even a real grilled cheese. It's like, it's so half-assed and just like, give me something.
We don't have Patrick, but we have Uncle Todd going off about the grilled cheese.
Apparently I'm very hungry now too. I don't know what's going on.
All right, sir. I'm going to go the real on this one. So I'm going with Morpheus is not Morpheus. He's a program.
Well, I think you're wrong.
Okay. Next one. Niobe, who we have seen in a trailer as an older version of herself. Niobe is leading the remainder of humanity toward the annihilation of the machine city. The real or the jabroni? And she does have a line in the trailer where she talks about how the Matrix is this noise in your head, and the only other similar noise like it is war. So that's a little bit where this is kind of coming from.
See, the thing is, I feel like
I'm going to go the real.
Gosh. It makes so much sense, but yeah, I just want to kind of, you know what? I'm going jabroni. My gut is just telling me it's not anything that we think it's going to be, and nothing is quite rung true 100% yet.
All right. Next one. Trinity is not real, but a machine-created program to help Neo realize his purpose. Real or jabroni?
Now, this one I could actually see. But... you know what? Yeah, I'm going to go real on this one.
All right. So Uncle Todd is going real. I'm going to go jabroni.
Of course you are. Just widen the gulf. Widen the gulf.
Because the next one is the reverse. Neo is not real, but a machine-created program.
Oh, yes.
To help Trinity realize her purpose, and I'm going to go the real on this one.
You're on the Trinity is the one track here. I gotcha, which I can respect. I think that would be a really interesting way to do it. I don't know that they would necessarily. I don't know how that would play out. You know?
Yeah. Sorry,
especially considering
jabroni in for you. Just assuming you were going to go the other way, but
yeah.
Sir, what is your selection?
No, jabroni.
Okay. All right.
I think it's a really interesting way to go. I'm just not sure. I guess. I was going to say, I don't know if logically that works, but so far nothing I've done in this thing has been logical. So I'm not sure why I'm expecting that much logic out of Lana Wachowski. So
indeed.
Whatever.
And sorry, we have one more to go. The last one of this section. Neo and Trinity are the keys to ultimate peace.
I'm going to go real. I mean, just because it sounds like should, right? I mean, that kind of sounds like where this whole thing is heading, because that's how they got the peace before. They were the keys to getting,
I would agree. All right, this next section is deja vu means a glitch is being assimilated. So this is basically items that are kind of trying to explain why they're back. Not quite purposeful, but just kind of other cursory explanations that I kind of found in some of these articles. So statement number 21, the quote unquote real world was never real, but another layer of matrix that Neo and Trinity need to break out of.
Now there's an interesting theory.
Mm-hmm.
And damn, it would fit right. See, this is where I get screwed up, because, ladies and gentlemen, I do not read through these beforehand, so I'm coming up with this crap in real time.
2 + 2 + 2.
equals 20. Yeah, damn, that is good. That's real good. That's real good.
Riggs.
Oh, hell yeah. Just give me some of that. Give me a reel on that one. Sure.
All right.
Sure. I feel like what was the crackhead in the Chappelle show? You got any more of them fan theories? I feel like right now.
Oh gosh. Let me see.
Do it.
I'm going to join you on this one, the reel.
Oh, look at that.
Because here's my thought process. If Trinity is in fact the one and the real world was never real, right, then she never really died. And she could be the one for the real world.
This is like Inception levels of... We're getting... I just realized that's where we're at. And we're going to be like...
I got a couple wild turkeys in me, so you know.
You're going to hear some music at one point, and they're like, when's the kick coming? It's like, wow, wait a minute. Holy crap.
All right. Statement number 22. Neo and Trinity are being used by the machines to police the new world that Neo's sacrifice created, shepherding those that want to leave out and protecting them from those that want humans to remain. So basically, if you look at like characters like the Merovingian and the Architect, they may be acting, even though they're honoring the peace, they may be doing things that are a little bit shady to keep humans in. And that Neo and Trinity are essentially policing the new world and trying to help humans who want to escape still. Make sense? Probably not.
I'm going to go Jabroni.
All right. I'm going to join you on that as well. I think their purpose is beyond that.
See, this next one I'm just reading for the first time. I've got no idea. You're going to have to translate this one into like idiot English for me because I'm not sure where you're heading with this one.
Okay, so number 23. Yeah, this one's a little funky, and I'll explain it. So Neo, is a prior the one, having never sacrificed themselves and opting to allow Zion to be purged and reset. So what this means is, and in Reloaded, we learned that there were 6 prior ones, correct?
Yeah.
Right. What this is basically saying is the Neo we're seeing is a prior the one who never had to sacrifice himself, didn't die, but he aged. Okay.
Okay.
Opting to allow Zion to be purged and reset, and now he's being kind of jolted into remembering or at least understanding what the actual Neo did. So the idea is that he is an older version of the one who they're trying to maybe kind of jump memories into to kind of bring him into being this other character who can actually go ahead and do the sacrifice. That make sense?
So in other words, they're rolling his brain downhill, popping the clutch and hoping that he'll turn over.
Yes. In your parlance, yes.
They put some jumper cables on him.
I'm going to go Jabroni on this one.
So, okay. So, all right. I think I understand here. The one problem I'd have with that is, so he's a one. He's the one. Let's say he's like the 5th one, right?
Right.
Which means that he didn't sacrifice himself. He allows the machines to win and Zion to be purged and all that. But wouldn't he then get to choose like who gets to go to the next Matrix? Because isn't that the whole deal?
Who gets to go to the new Zion?
So he would have chosen himself, and then Neo would have. Well, no, because they didn't reset after the 6th one.
So the whole idea here is
you would have had 2 Neos in there because he would have still been around,
right?
So you would have had it would have been like a Neo twin, which would then mean that Neo would be dead, but then you have like Neo Prime. Still strolling around.
Yeah, the way I'm interpreting this is we don't know whatever happened from the other ones. Like maybe they just aged out and died off, right? Or maybe they are still alive, just kind of somewhere else. And this is a way of, like we talked about earlier, the machines trying to do something for a given purpose to, kind of keep machines and humans from dying. And they're bringing one of them back, but they're having to bring them back and try to trick them into thinking like they are this other one who made a choice that actually provided the peace. You know, and I'm not explaining it very well, but I think mainly the idea is it's trying to use one of the former ones to become Neo.
Yeah, I'm going to go Jabroni. I've been trying. Honestly, well, no, I've been trying to think of a way that this would work because I think it's an interesting idea. I just don't know how you compress that into a movie.
Yeah,
because there's a lot going on there. I don't know how you have any other characters in that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Now that I'm reading it, I'm like, maybe I should have left that one out. But anyways, we said Jabroni, and so it is. Number 24, the Oracle arranged for Neo to be saved and brought back for a future purpose. So the idea here is, however he came back was at the behest of the Oracle from Revolutions, who arranged for Neo to be saved and brought back because she knew in the future there would be a need for him to return.
Let's go real.
I'll join you on that one. It does fit the character, you know. She took a chance on him.
Yep.
Seems logical that she would, have a plan B in case something goes wrong with the piece and she needs to bring him back to, layeth or smacketh down.
Yeah, she's got him stored in the garage. It's parked on a hill, so she can just roll him out.
It's all about the automotive again. It's all about the cars. Uncle Todd, cars, boom. There we have it.
Yeah, which the real funny part about that is I can't work on a car to save my life.
When the Jeep goes, he takes it to the garage.
If you see me lifting up the hood, there better be an on-off switch in there that I can just go flip, and that's it. Because otherwise, it ain't getting fixed by me looking under the hood. I look under there, I'm like, whew, there's a lot of stuff under here, ain't there? Look at all them wires and gaskets and tubes and metal. Wow. I'm sure it's fascinating and it all has purpose, but I don't know.
All right, the last one here, number 25 in this particular section. The architect is trying to keep people in the Matrix while honoring the truce established in Revolutions. The real or the Jabroni?
I'll go real.
And I think I will join you on that. Final 5. This section I call Bad Leroy Brown. It's all about who the antagonist is here. So, statement 26. The architect is the primary antagonist. The real or the Jabroni?
Now, what do you mean by primary?
Well, meaning that whatever friction is, the heroes are about trying to resolve stems from him.
Huh.
In the same way that I would call Thanos the primary antagonist of Infinity War and Endgame.
All right. Well, gosh, I almost feel like it's someone that we don't know about. That's just kind of the thing we're heading towards. So I'm going to go Jabroni.
All right. I'm going to join you on that one.
All right, let's see who you think is the baddie. Because I've gone completely off the boards. I think it's someone totally that we don't even know about. So let's see who you think.
The next one is the Merovingian, who is confirmed to be in the cast, is the primary antagonist.
Jabroni. And you?
I'm going to join you on that too.
Oh, yeah, I see where we're heading here. Yeah. Oh.
What are you channeling your inner Jimmy Dice here?
Yeah. I'm prepping myself for that next episode. Sure. Yeah.
All right, number 28. Humanity is the primary antagonist.
Jabroni. And you?
I'm going to go the real on this one.
Oh, and here we are. The human-hating Tim. The guy who's rooting for Cylons. Okay.
I believe we're going to find out that humans have got a little big in their britches and are trying to, overthrow the machines. And unfortunately, there's a lack of acceptance of the symbiotic relationship.
Mm-hmm. All righty. So you know what? Basically, what he's saying is the last 2 years have basically caused him to just hate people. That's what it is. You know what? We ought to all be wiped out.
Oh, my gosh. All right, last two. Neo sacrifices himself to save both humanity and machines again.
Well, the funny thing is, like, the way that you have these last two written, like, you can answer the same to both of them.
Well, sure, you could.
And still be okay. So, yeah, real.
Okay.
Why not?
I'm going to go Jabroni.
Alrighty.
Last one. Trinity sacrifices herself to save both humanity and machines. I don't know why I put again in there, but I'm going to say
because she technically did sacrifice herself in the first one. I mean, she was the one piloting the ship.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair.
So there you go. Your again was correct.
All right. And we have now voted.
Mm-hmm. Such as it is.
Such as it is.
Oh,
gosh. Bottle of bourbon is on the line.
This is a disaster just waiting to happen, and I have a
lot of differences in this one, so it's going to be an interesting one to adjudicate, my friends.
I have a feeling that is coming from me. That's what the disaster is coming from my bootay.
You may have won Idiot Bowl too, but I'm going to win where it counts.
And that's the part that's burning me. It's just burning me.
You wanted me to drive by your reality? I will, and I'll have a bottle of bourbon that I'll wave in your face.
Yep, you'd be flipping me off at the same. So before we get into another thing here, a happy birthday is in order here. We missed this in the Week in Geek, which I'm kind of surprised. I was waiting for you to point this out at some point. We had a major birthday, and one which you of all people, sir, should have been in tune with.
All right.
A very happy birthday to the one and only Texas Rattlesnake, Stone Cold Steve Austin, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, yes. Yes, I saw that.
Who had one of the most perfect Instagram posts ever. Just a video of him walking towards the camera with his old school. And when I say old school, I mean like old school, like original OG Breaking Glass, no lyrics, no remix, no nothing. Stone cold music, walks up to the camera, takes off like his Carhartt coat or whatever, has two of his own IPAs already popped and ready to go, toasts himself, downs both 16-ounce beers, and then flips off the camera. Gives you the double flying bird.
There you go.
And I'm like, ladies and gentlemen, there will never be another.
No, never. Never,
great.
ever.
I love the story.
Well, thank you for catching that.
I love the story that Paul Heyman talks about when he got fired from WCW and he called up Steve Austin, and the way that he impersonates Austin is just lovely.
Oh, it's like spot on.
Yeah, he's like, "Hey, Steve, what are you doing?" "Well, damn, man, I'm sitting here at home." "Well, what are you gonna do?" "I'm probably gonna drink some beer." It's like, wow, it wasn't an act like that. Okay, sure. Right on. Whatever.
Nice.
Oh, yeah, it was great. Anyways.
Good stuff.
All right, we will see, sir. We will see.
We will.
And another thing.
So what have you got for and another thing this week?
In keeping with the holiday season we are in, this is not a surprise or an unknown for anyone, but I just wanted to call out National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. Watched it the other night with the family, a Christmas classic with Chevy Chase, Beverly D'Angelo, Juliette Lewis, and Johnny Galecki bring in the comedy and tomfoolery in a story of Clark Griswold's journey toward putting on the perfect family Christmas. It is a classic, timeless flick with many, many quotable scenes. And if you have not seen it somehow, please do, because it is funny. It has aged well. It is, definitely not something where you're going to miss any of the jokes. It is good stuff all around, and would highly recommend it in your holiday viewing wheelhouse.
Very nice, sir. And so many great moments in that. I mean, you have the sled.
Oh, gosh.
Cousin
Eddie all around.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh. Cousin Eddie before Randy Quaid just basically became Cousin Eddie in real life.
That one came to fruition in reality.
Oh my good Lord, Randy. Oh boy. Oh, where hast thou gone, sir? Where hast thou gone? The cat chewing on the Christmas on the ornaments on the lighting cord, the squirrel flying out of the tree.
Mm-hmm.
Julia Louis-Dreyfus, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh gosh. Yep.
Playing Margot.
And the other guy who's, the yuppies from the 80s.
Yeah, and of course, what is the other guy? What's the guy's name?
Oh, I don't remember.
Todd.
Oh, Todd.
Yeah, when it's like, what happened, Margot? I don't know, Todd. I'm like, oh my gosh, seriously?
Good stuff.
Yeah, but a very, very, very good choice, sir. Very good choice.
Thank you. And what about you? What is your and another thing?
Well, I'm going to go with something. I might have mentioned this in previous episodes, but I recently, because I've been on the Netflix bandwagon here for a little while, and I've been trying to search for stuff to watch because I want to get my money's worth, because I'm that kind of guy. I'm paying $9.95. I want my $9.95 worth. I've turned into Grandpa Simpson at this point, basically, just slightly more coherent at times. But I've been watching. Yesterday, I actually binged about 8 episodes of comedians in cars getting coffee. Jerry Seinfeld. Which was originally an internet series, which was apparently it had extraordinarily high numbers of views on the web, and then Netflix now owns the rights to it, and I think they're producing shows strictly for Netflix now. But watching it, I'm just like, some of them are really good because it's just fun to watch the interactions, and some of them are good because you're watching history. Like when you're watching the Don Rickles one. When you're watching Jerry sit down and talk with Carl Reiner, like drive around with Carl Reiner, and then as a bonus, as if like getting a candid or a semi-candid conversation between two comedic giants isn't enough. Let's just throw in another one. You get to go and visit Carl Reiner with Jerry Seinfeld, and as he's having dinner with Mel Brooks. I mean, come on. What else do you want? But then you get kind of some of the others that are just like, oh wow, this is just kind of cool watching the interactions and then watching like them talk about actual comedy and like what's funny and how is things funny and how do you do this and how do you do that. Two of the ones that stood out to me were interesting because one was Howard Stern, because it was a bit more antagonistic. But at the same time, it was antagonistic in that same way where it's like almost like me and you antagonistic. Like, who's going to get the bigger rise out of the other one? And that becomes the challenge, like who's going to finally be the one to blow for real? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's all fun and games until all of a sudden, like a Sega Genesis controller comes flying across the room and square at your forehead. That sort of vibe. But it was also really good because they kind of talked about like some of the insecurities that they have and just, comedy in general and their careers in very kind of rapid fire. That was really good. But they also had Julia Louis-Dreyfus on one of them, which was lovely because just watching them be so happy to talk and stuff like that. But then also having her talk about like Seinfeld back in the day. And at one point, like, she's saying something about like a website or something, and so he calls his wife, and she ends up just taking the phone, and she's trying to figure out like, well, every time I go in, there's a VIP preview and this and that, and she says, oh well, and I just want to thank you for like training Jerry on how to be a human over the last 15 years, because if compared to what I had to deal with, this is great.
That's like, funny.
It was phenomenal. So, I mean, they're great. They're quick watches. And the other thing, too, is what drags me in about each episode, because they do that thing where it's like just when you finish the last episode, boom, you're into the next one. It's like chain smoking crack or something. You don't chain smoke crack, but I'm guessing. I don't know.
Gosh.
But like you get into the next episode and it's like you just get to this great episode and you're like, all right, I think I'm done. And then all of a sudden it's like this really cool car and you're like, ooh. Because I mean, I don't know how to work on cars, but dang, I love me some of these cars. I'm just like, oh, that is awesome. That looks cool. That is like, I wouldn't know how to fix that thing, but I can appreciate how amazingly cool that car is. And then I'm in for another episode. But they're great. And I really enjoy them, and I've been enjoying them now for several years, watching them online, and now I've got them right in the comfort of my own living room. So I highly recommend, if you have not seen any of these, go find yourself some comedians in cars getting coffee. It's a wonderful watch, whether you're into like kind of the technicalities of comedy or you just like something with two funny people talking.
Nice. Very nice.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for us to part. We need to kick this one on down the road. We have other things to do, like, I don't know, sleep, contemplate just how badly we're going to get our tails kicked in a real jabroni. Oh no, that's just me. But thank you for tuning in and for listening. We certainly appreciate it. We appreciate all the members of the Free Range Idiocy congregation who have gathered here with us together to read from the scriptures of idiocy, who believe in redemption to the power of idiocy. Please be sure to go to freerangeidiocy.com. You can see all of our episodes there. Feel free to subscribe at the podcast purveyor of your choice. We are currently on Apple Podcasts. We are on Spotify. We are on iHeartRadio. We're on Google Podcasts, many others. Go and search for us. You'll find us. Freerangeidiocy.com has all the episodes there. You can find us on the Podbean app as well. If you haven't followed us in the social medias, oh my goodness, are you missing out? Are you missing out? I mean, there is enlightening, wonderful, thought-provoking content. I mean, it's not ours. I mean, that's just in social media in general, but ours is at least kind of funny sometimes. So find us on Twitter. We're on Instagram. We're on Facebook. All of those are at Free Range Idiocy. If you have questions, if you have thoughts, especially if you have complaints, for heaven's sake, don't send those to me. Send those to Tim at freerangeidiocy.com. He will get back to you forthwith with the proper response. Because he's an empathetic man, and I'm just a jerk, as you can tell. If you've listened to 84 or 85 episodes now, you know these things. You know the dynamic, and Tim will actually respond to you, as opposed to me, where I'll just tell you to go pound sand. And now we come to the point in the show where I finally stop talking, but not before I ask the second most important question ever asked in the history of humanity. The first, of course, being what is hip. The second being, the hell did we learn this show?
We've learned the following, my friend.
Aha.
We've learned that while Uncle Todd may have won Idiot Bowl 2, there may be other victories down the line he will have rather than that one. And we shall see what this Spider-Man and Book of Boba Fett shall render for him in the future.
Good Lord, I think you need an editor for some of these, like, because it'd be a lot more punchy if you could just cut it down to a few words. I'm just saying. Be a little more badass. But you can get into like a hitherto for, and therefore I shall.
To wit.
Whence I to wit. And forthwith, as I sally forth, and it's like, you started off good, and then it just sort of, it meandered down a path.
I'll work on it. Okay.
I'm here to help.
We've also learned that the man they call Tim needs a better command on the English language, apparently.
Well, it's like your third language, isn't it? I mean,
yeah, fourth, maybe.
It's like JavaScript, Greek, and then the English, right? I mean, isn't that? Yeah. Okay.
We've also learned.
I just love the silence after that. Like, both of us, like, that was it? That's a joke? Okay. All right.
Sorry.
Which is pretty much what our audience is doing, too. Like, that sucked. Next.
I'm trying. Oh, my goodness. We've learned Hawkeye has some rather thought-provoking, storylines going on, but we're not quite sure how it's all going to wrap up. So it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Fat-provoking or thought-provoking?
Thought-provoking.
Oh, I thought you said fat-provoking, and I'm like, what's a fat? What is a ute? What's going on?
That's where I was going to go next. Like, are we talking about utes now, or are we talking about thoughts?
All of a sudden, we're back into like the J.J. Abrams. I got numb tongue. What numb tongue? Why is that numb tongue? Gotta cut down that wild turkey. Take the straw out. Try putting it in glasses.
Oh, good Lord. Anyways, Matrix Resurrections, Uncle Todd all over the map in terms of consistency. The man they call Tim, also all over the map. Although trying to keep it a little bit consistent. You're
a little bit better than I was, but not that much.
Gosh. Yeah. Well, What do you expect from two chuckleheads who are just guessing on internet rumors?
What do you want for nothing?
There we go. And finally, as we like to close things out, and Uncle Todd has mentioned, thank you very much for the downloads. We do appreciate it. And please continue across the various platforms to support this wonderful, wonderful platform that we have created that, is just two people rambling on about, whatever seems to catch their fancy on any given week.
And using the word platform about 8 times in the same sentence in different ways each time.
On that note, we do appreciate, as we said.
We already did that. Where are we going? Good Lord. Okay, ladies and gentlemen.
I thought this was my part to speak in. Will you give me a second to talk?
Drunk. I'm taking the keys away.
No. All right. On that note, be safe, be healthy, be kind, be good to one another. Oh, good Lord. And as always, please, would you hit the lights on the way out?
You're such a disappointing pair. I prayed so hard for you.
What? I was trying to help you there, but you were all over the place.
I was not all over the place.
Oh my gosh!
It's hard to be like direct when you get interrupted 5,000 times.
If you were driving right then, you would have been swerving across 3 lanes. You've been dragging a road cone behind you.
Come on now. Good Lord.
Even Patrick does better on his moped than that.
Oh my God. You had to go there.
That one hurts, doesn't it?
Oh, it does hurt. It does hurt.
Now get the hell out of here!